Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's PrestoStats training webinar. Today, we are focused on lacrosse. Excited to have you, and today you're going to see a lot of the platform. As we go through, you're going to see a lot of similarity if you've ever used Stat Crew Lacrosse before. It's the exact same keystrokes, so it's going to have a very familiar feel to you. But we're going to walk through not only the platform, we will walk through how to send stats out to live stats displays and also show you how to get live XMLs for an arena type of utilization. So with that said, I will go ahead and introduce Zaid, who will walk you through the platform. Zaid?
Good afternoon, everybody, and good morning to those on the West Coast. Zaid Hussein, as Brad mentioned, I'm a member of the product development team here at PrestoSports. Thank you for joining us today. This is the second part of our spring and summer stat demonstration. As Brad mentioned, I'll be taking you through some demonstrations and foundational concepts to effectively utilize our men's and women's lacrosse stat platforms. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. I've got our login window up right now, but what can you expect for today? I'll log into the backend and our network administration system. We'll take a look at rosters that exist and discuss season setup. We'll go into the event hubs and we'll dive into one of the transmission methods that we're going to look at today, just stat partner integrations. Next, we'll launch an event. We'll set up PrestoSync, which is the second method that we promote for transmitting live in-game statistics. And then at that point, we'll launch an event, go right into the stats platform. We'll look at the event settings, ensure we've got our rosters one for one as they were with the rosters in game day. We'll go through some plays and some sequences, finalize and wrap up the event. And finally, we'll take a look at some of the in-game reports that we generated and farewell and Q&A at that point. So I'm going to kick it off here. This is our game day PrestoSports administration system. This is really where you're going to go to handle and manage all of your season stuff, particularly if you're ever going to stat a lacrosse event. You would come into this platform and go into the event and launch it as I will demonstrate here. So this is the main page after logging in. As you can see, we've got a few events for today. This list will grow or will be smaller depending on what you have access to. Internally, we handle all of the user access as you're onboarded. So you should be set up just fine with a season and at least one team. So here I will go into one of the seasons that we'll be looking at today. Obviously, men's and women's lacrosse differ in some sense, so we'll take a look at those differences and take your questions from there. So upon accessing the administration system, you can simply go in and click into a season. I'll go back there. I think I did a little bit too fast. Here we'll show you the list of available events for that given season. You're free to click into an individual event, or you can simply go access the season itself. You can also go directly to the seasons through here. We'll start with the unofficial men's lacrosse. Here are all teams in the season. A couple of teams that I've created. I have access to two of the teams within the season. So therefore, I am seeing a schedule list for both of said teams. We'll click on the Buffalo Bandits since they're both playing each other anyways. So this is the schedule within the back end and game day administration system. Here is where you would go in and view an event. You can view the current progress of the event and the status as well. If you like adding an event, editing the schedule, and creating a tournament are also other options, but we have explicit videos and instructions on how to handle those as well. Within a season, there are multiple tabs you can access. We've got a stats tab here. This will list out a couple of different reports that we have. If you don't have PrestoSync as a tool already downloaded on your machine, you can obtain the package here. I've already got it downloaded, so I won't go through that process. Within the Stat Partners tab, each team will have a list of stat partners that they can be potentially integrated with. So for the Buffalo Bandits, nothing is currently set up, but you would simply connect an FTP server via the user credentials, password path, depending on the requirements with each service provider. Also, if you would like to send an email specifically with the box score, simply add an email address here, comma delimited, so you can add more than one. So finally, it's probably good to check out on your rosters before you're going to go in and launch an event to start statting it. Of course, within the platform, and we'll touch on this, you can add your rosters in a couple of different ways, even down to adding an individual player. But within game day, we do keep your rosters within our network, and this is shared across our entire system. So anybody who is playing the Buffalo Bandits within the season will also have access to this team roster once they go in to stat the event. Couple of different options here. You can export, you can import, and you also can, as I mentioned, add individual players or import many players through CSV, which is probably your easiest method. We'll go back to the schedule here and we'll kick off the stats demonstration. So after you click on an event within the schedule, you're taken to the event page. This will list out some of the details of the event, metadata, as well as some changes that have been put forth. All of our changes are kept in a log, so once the event's created, whenever it's updated, the status is changed, or a statistic has been added, the changes will be captured and logged here. To access our stat platforms, you would simply launch PrestoStats by clicking this button. And for the purpose of this demo, we will be going through live scoring only. We have explicit instructions on how to enter statistics through score sheet, albeit it is a lot easier. But you are provided with a lot less information at the end of the event, if that makes sense. So upon accessing event, you're taken to this view. You've got the game setup here, which is already typically you can access that through this button, which we will go to deeper here in a few minutes. But for rosters, let's select a couple of starters here. And the system will prompt you to select starters for the opposing team as well. Just take the top 5 off of the roster. Within this rosters tab, you can also import a stat crew roster, grab the roster via URL, or you can simply paste a roster the same way that you would import many players through Game Day CMS. So let's go back to the add play. Now the system won't let you start the event until all the required information has been provided. So as you can see here, we're still missing a couple of goalkeepers. We'll set the rock as CJ Kirst. So you can see as plays are added, in this case, we've got a goalie identification. The recent plays will be shown up in the play log here. At any point throughout the event, you can access the help tab. The help tab gives you instructions on how to import rosters, set up your game. If you're looking for a cheat sheet on how to enter in hotkeys, which I'll go in a little bit deeper here shortly, but just some resources that are available for you. And if you ever need them, they're always here. And we also do have a lot of this content published on our website as well. So now we're all set here. We're in pretty good pretty good shape. We're at the face-off dot. The space bar is essentially a good tool I should probably call out. Spacebar will start and will also stop the clock. But for this case, let's start the game as normal. We'll have a face off. You'll select your visitor. You'll select the opposing team. Who won the draw? Was there a face-off violation? And as you can see, as you're entering these plays, the system is prompting you for the required information. Was it a ground ball? We'll say there was no ground ball in this scenario, and it was one clean. As you notice, once I clicked the face-off button and we entered that play, the clock started automatically. As I mentioned before, if you ever need to stop the clock, you simply push the space bar and the clock will stop. You're in the broadcast booth and you're looking for some quick play-by-play highlights or some statistical metadata that you can call out while you're live. This is always available. We will track this. These will update throughout the game. In the visitor and we define by visitor and home as well. You also have your overall game summary. Any available broadcasts will also be displayed here. Let's stop the clock. So we're in play here. Let's go back to recent plays. You've got our play log up. Let's enter another core play here. I think it's probably good to call out. We just took a face off for in the men's lacrosse event. I've got a women's lacrosse event open here that is already in progress. Notice how in the women's add play screen, instead of face off, you see draw control. Draw control is a little different in that it will simply require a winner, whereas a face-off will require both participants. What that will lead to is more extensive and robust face-off statistics on the men's side, but this is typically the way that we are tracking face draw controls on the women's side. You'll get total draw controls and draw controls per game. Okay, clock has been running here. Had some back and forth. Let's run a turnover. We'll say the turnover was by the Bandits since they currently have the ball in their hands. The turnover will, when you're entering the turnover, it'll ask who committed the turnover, who the turnover was caused by. If it was not caused by anybody, you simply select no cause. Again, the play log will be updated here as that's added. Another primary difference between the men's and the women's game is the way that we track penalties, fouls, and cards. So if you notice, we stop the clock here. In the men's view, this would be the flow for entering a penalty. So you would choose penalty, you would select the team, and you would select a player from the team. You could enter the infraction. You could always enter the keys if you need to. And then you would select the type of penalty. For this case, we'll go with a major penalty. And they will go up a man. The system will take the clock time that was, well, right now the clock is currently stopped, so that's helpful. But if the clock were running, the system would take the clock time from the point that you clicked add play, or selected the play, I'm sorry. So we've got a power play or a penalty on TD Laren for the Toronto Lock rock for failure to advance, and we gave him a major for that for some reason. If needed, you can define the amount of seconds for each penalty. What is the duration? So for this event, we have a minor set to 30, 120, 60, 60, and 300. These values, of course, would probably be best edited before the game started. So keep that in mind. But these are also season settings, so they would, by default, already be accurate based on the season that your team's playing in. Now, on the women's side, we do it a little differently. We ask for the penalty seconds for cards specifically. So in this case, we've got defaults at 120, 60, and 300 for a red card. Let's go back to the ad play views here. Now, while this game's happening, we have a stat integration set up between a stat partner, but you also have the ability to go to an in-house platform called PrestoSync. And within PrestoSync, you can essentially decide to send the game file that is generated, which I will show you here. So this current game file can be sent as plays are entered to your local drive so that those details can be presented on your in-arena utility board. So within PrestoSync, you just grab you would simply log in with the same credentials that you logged in to the CMS or game day administration system. After successfully logging into PrestoSync, you will see a list of the events that you have available within your account. Currently, these events go 2 weeks forward and 2 weeks 2 weeks prior. We do have some plans to update how we render the events here. But for our purposes, we will simply set up a transmission to our computer. Let's confirm the event we are in. Going back to game day here. And you can see the event that we have put into progress. In progress is denoted by this orange highlighter. Okay. So we want to take the 4 o'clock event. A lot of times you guys probably won't have this many events on the same day. Likely you may have a doubleheader. Highly likely you'll have the same team playing 3 times. Okay. So here we're going to send this game file to our local drive. You'll select the folder. Just going to simply select downloads. We will go name your file. Say men's lacrosse 828 6. Okay, and we'll say simply click the start transmission button here. And as you can see, the application is continuously pinging our backend system to pull the most up-to-date game file on your local drive. And that can be shown here. Okay. As statistics are entered throughout the game, that file will be updated with the most up-to-date stats. Let's turn back into the platforms here. Okay. Start the clock back up. Demonstrate a shot here. Say Toronto takes a shot for 8. And you have your shot results screen. These are all the hotkeys, again, are all underlined as well. Say a goal. This resulted in a goal. They were on the power play. You'll have to identify that manually. Some of our other platforms actually will infer based on the number of players that are currently on the field. In this case, we'll say they were a man up. And optionally, you may enter an assist. If it was unassisted, you would simply click no assist. The player season statistics must be provided here so that they're added to the game file. So we'll say this was the first goal and first assist for each of those players during the season. Confirm the time. Lastly, and as you can see, the clock is still running here, but that goal happened at 9:31 before I started entering this play. And the clock will automatically update to that point. Lastly, I think we could probably show a substitution, similar across both platforms, men's and women's. We would select a player that is going in. We'll say Connor Farrell is coming in, and that's shown here at the bottom of the view. And who are they being replaced by or for? And they're going to be replaced for Ian McKay. We'll save that. And that's a substitution. I think a good point here. Let's progress. Let's for some reason say that clock skipped 9.5 minutes. So we can set the clock here to 00. Manually set the clock, and let's progress to the next period. You would go to the game control button here, and you would click end period to trigger the ending of this period. Confirm the clock time. And we can go in and start the next period with the same flow. Okay. And we'll start off with face-off. We won by Buffalo, no face-off violation. If there was a face-off violation, we would simply note that. At any point in the game, if you need to make a comment or want to append a comment to a play, simply click the comment button. And that will be added to the recent plays as well. Any point throughout the game, you need to navigate to a previous period. You would simply click on the full play-by-play button, and it will take you to the most recent period, and you can navigate back and forth. And at this point, if you need to edit a period or remove a play, you can simply come here and you can delete the play. And the clock, please keep in mind, will automatically continue in the state that it was before. We'll pause it for now. Let's go back to the play-by-play summary. You can also edit a play. So in this play, we'll say that it was actually 18 that took the face off, and 3 was fine for the home team, but we'll say that the Rock won the ball. And we'll say that there was no face-off violation in this case. Okay. So you saw there, if the system prompts you or notices that you are heading down a route that is not a valid route, you will be prompted with that message that you just saw there. Okay, so now that's edited. We're still in the second period here. At any point in the event, or at any time, typically you would do this once you've played out the entire event or overtime, you can finalize the event. So to finalize the event, you'll go to the game control view and you'll click wrap up. Couple of options here. Confirm the score, probably a good idea. If you'd like to edit it, you can absolutely edit it, but if it doesn't match with the data that we've captured in the XML, we will note that, but you can still proceed. If you would like to print the box score, that's available. You can also start another period, should you decide to. Complete game information, it's typically going to be the end time here. You have other information such as officials, weather, venue, all of that stuff can and is suggested to be provided, but not required. Okay. Inputting goalie records is probably a step that we should call out for now. In the future, this stuff we will capture that automatically. But for this case, we'll need to determine who was the winning goaltender. We'll say CJ Kirst, since they're up 1-0 at the W here. And sorry about that. Okay. Simply enter the goalie record. That will be saved to the game file. Okay. And lastly, team records the system will suggest that these are provided as well. Okay. Now, if we go back to this event here in game day, take a look and notice that we are currently in progress. System is cached. Let's refresh the page. As you can see, we are final state. The current game statistical briefs are shown here. If you need to, you can absolutely go to the box score view of this event, and you can see every version of the box score that was created. A version is created once you start the event. It's put to in progress, and after each and every play that is entered. Okay. If you need to, you can highlight changes from the previous versions. Really, goalie minutes was the only thing that changed in that time period. Sample of some of the statistics that we capture throughout the event.
We want to thank you for viewing this PrestoStats training session. For additional content, help articles, and guidance on PrestoStats solutions, please visit help.prestosports.com. For support questions, please head to prestosports.com/support.